Hey, in this video, I'm going to drop some old school Pokemon VGC knowledge on y'all. For those of you who don't know, I'm PinkBears07. I make unique teams and find niches that help combat the VGC meta, but that's not what we're here for today. Let's start from the beginning. This is Parasect, a bug grass-type Pokemon introduced in 1996 in Pokemon Red and Green in Japan, 1998 for Pokemon Red and Blue in Australia and America, and 1999 for our European friends. Or enemies. I don't know you like that. Anywho, this Pokemon was considered abysmal, even with the power scaling of Gen 1. You got it pretty easily being the evolution of Paras at level 24, and you can catch Paras in Mount Moon, but due to being a bug type also, it didn't help against the Rock Gym, meaning most people just boxed it and picked up Oddish or chose Bulbasaur as their starter, meaning it didn't really do much story-wise. Its base stats are also horrendous. At 60 HP, 95 attack, 80 on both defenses, 60 special attack, and 30 speed, this thing is slow. Like Minnesota construction slow. Shout out Minneapolis. Its attack is pretty okay, but compared to other Pokemon, it was just simply outclassed, especially since its move pool consisted of moves like X-Scissor, Giga Drain, Slash, Spore, Leech Life, Cross Poison, Bullet Seed, Dig, Brick Break, Aerial Ace for some reason, Thief, and Swords Dance. Not to mention, this was before the poor fella even learned Wide Guard. You would think at the very least it could fall back on its defenses for support, but even then, the type combination of Bug Grass made it 4 times weak to Fire and Flying, 2 very common types in VGC. It was 2 times weak to Poison, Rock, Bug, and Ice, while only resisting Fighting, Water, Electric, Ground, and Grass. So with the wide range of moves that other Pokemon could learn, it was just not worth putting on your team. Even if you wanted a Spore user, why go for the Pokemon with 2 4 times weaknesses and less physical attack than Breloom, which only has 1? I can tell you why. Due to one special little ability no one ever paid any mind to: Dry Skin.
It works. It just works.
One player saw the fact that Parasect learned Spore and had the ability Dry Skin, and knew that it was just perfect enough to bring it to the 2010 World VGC Championships. Dry Skin is an ability that has the Pokemon in question be healed 1/4 their max HP by Water-type moves, 1/8 of their max HP by the Rain, take 1/8 of their max HP by the Sun, and take an extra 25% damage from Fire-type moves. But what does a 25% boost in fire damage mean to something that dies by being near a candle? The trainer who realized this little mushroom's potential is Hui Ha, with a very unconventional, unforgettable team of Groudon, Dialga, Mewtwo, Abomasnow, Jumpluff, and Parasect. Now, on top of having a Sun and Snow pair-up with our dry-skinned friend, the builds only make things more interesting. First was his Groudon, with the possible items of Iron Ball, which cuts speed in half, Lumberry, which cures status, and Yache Berry, which cuts the damage of super effective Ice-type moves, with a Brave Nature, which boosts attack and lowers speed, 0 speed IVs, and the moveset of Earthquake, Rock Slide, Swords Dance, and Protect, which is a pretty simple build aside from the choice to use Swords Dance over Fire Punch, and the 0 speed IVs seems a little off, but it only gets stranger as we go. Next is Abomasnow, with the possible items of Citrus Berry for healing, Focus Sash, which would have Abomasnow live on 1 HP if it were to be O-Code, Life Orb, which deals extra damage at the price of some of its HP, or Iron Ball. The EVs were max HP, max special attack, and the leftover point went to special defense. With a moveset of Blizzard, Grass Knot, and Hidden Power Fire alongside Protect, it was pretty much an offensive machine. Setting up Hail for Chip, making Blizzard 100% accurate, and resisting most prevalent restricteds was clean as hell. This Abomasnow build is so beautiful, especially with the Quiet Nature dropping speed and boosting special attack, making those Hidden Powers, Grass Knots, and Blizzards hit even harder. According to the Nugget Bridge link, the Hidden Power Fire was for mirror matches, which is great foresight on Hui's part. The last partly normal build on this team was the Dialga with max HP, max special attack, and spare defense. Item choice of Life Orb or Citrus Berry, Quiet Nature, and the moveset of Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, Trick Room, and Protect. This is a pretty solid Trick Room setter and sweeper, here to kill and die like someone who signs up for a Street Fighter tournament while only having played twice.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Now, Trick Room is a great strategy because it reverses the speed order, making the slowest Pokemon move first while the fastest Pokemon moves last. And with their opponent not knowing who had what item, or if Hui was even bringing the Iron Ball at all, they might accidentally set up Trick Room themselves in front of a Pokemon that they didn't think was holding the Iron Ball. Next, we have our first full strange build of Jumpluff. You would assume max speed special attacking assistance for Groudon, but you'd only be about half right. It is a jolly Jumpluff with max speed, max HP, and spare special defense, but there was no Tailwind in sight. It was just Sleep Powder, Encore, Bounce, and Protect. With there being no Tailwind, this added an extra layer of confusion, since you may expect Tailwind Jumpluff and get stuck with Sleep or locked into a move like Protect, while Groudon sets up with Sword Stances to sweep your whole team with Earthquake and Rock Slide. The reason Hui chose Bounce was so that they could avoid Giratina's Shadow Force, because Shadow Force breaks through Protect and deals lethal damage. It was a nice way to break Focus Sash and avoid being hit when necessary, being the best mix of an offensive pressure and defensive pressure that Jumpluff needed to excel. The best options for items were either Yachi Berry because of how weak Jumpluff is to ice, or Focus Sash because of how frail they are. Next up is Mewtwo, which already was kind of a strange pick in of itself. It was Sassy Nature, which boosts special defense but lower speed, with 0 speed IVs and the stat layout of 252 HP, 42 attack, 4 defense, and 212 special defense. Now this thing always held Iron Ball, like an iPad kid watching Cocomelon, which is already wild. But it gets funkier with the moveset of Trick Room, Protect, Blizzard, and Self-Destruct. Apparently, Hui liked the idea of taking something conventionally fast and making it slow, like a demodded Ford Mustang. Mewtwo already had its damage covered with its phenomenal 154 base special attack, which allowed Hui to focus more on the defenses. And since it was going to be in Trick Room anyways, that allowed for maximum efficiency. Lastly is the little man of the hour, Parasect. Parasect was holding Hui's choice of Life Orb, Yachi Berry, or Focus Sash, with the EV layout of max attack, max HP, and scrap special defense, with a brave nature. The moveset was Spore for guaranteed sleep, Seed Bomb and X-Scissor for stab damage, and Protect to stall for HP in the rain, and also just to block damage. Rather than being an addition to a rain team or only being a support mon, it was used for putting opponents to sleep in or out of Trick Room, and then it would rain hell upon Pokemon like Groudon, Kyogre, Tyranitar, Abomasnow, Lantern, Rotom-Mow, Cresselia, Latios, and Mewtwo. It could even beat opposing Parasect. It was in the right place at the right time, with the right ability. Only really ever being beaten by teams that had great counters to other Pokemon on the team, like Dialga blocking almost everything. Then Togekiss and Infernape were problems in of their own for Pokemon like Abomasnow and Dialga. The two modes listed in Hui's Nugget Bridge page are the standard Game 1 with Groudon Jumpluff for Disruption and an Encore Sword Stance setup, with Dialga there for Trick Room, and Hui's choice of Abomasnow if they brought weather that could be a problem for others, or Parasect if Sleep and Stab were the correct answers. The other lead was Abomasnow and Mewtwo for double Blizzards and Trick Room setup ASAP. Dialga was in the back for resetting Trick Room and for raw damage, while Parasect was brought for its usual Sleep and Stab. Most people would either change the weather or pivot into something that could tank a Blizzard or two, so Hui would use this as an opportunity to set up Trick Room to later sweep with Dialga and Parasect when necessary. There were other leads, but those were the main two used to help Hui reach 5th place at Worlds. The other leads comprised of things like Jumpluff and Mewtwo for middle speed compromise. Even with this setup, the synergy was unmatched, with Jumpluff being able to go for Bounce and Mewtwo using Self-Destruct, causing it to only hit Hui's opponents with Jumpluff high in the sky, safe from any harm. There was also a few times where Hui led Dialga and Parasect, where they would use Parasect as bait and go for Protect while Dialga set up Trick Room. Hui ended up losing to Wataru Onishi when he was at the 2nd seed, losing to the team of Kyogre, Groudon, Dialga, Snorlax, Togekiss, and Cresselia. And looking at this matchup on paper, it looks like this team was handcrafted to beat Hui's strategy of dealing with weather as it shows, with 2 ground immunities, 2 different kinds of weather, and a mon that can tank hits from any possible combination of leads. Even worse if they ended up putting Lumberry on Snorlax, because then they would end up retaliating the same turn, if and more realistically when they try to put it to sleep. In the end though, he may not have won, Parasect being the little guy he was, he made it. he made the distance. We saw the diamond in the rough not only with the Trick Room build of the team and the strange Mewtwo set, but also by picking the Pokemon that was so underrated it wasn't even in the conversation. I hope that one day Parasect can have its day in the rain again, but for now, he has a 5th place badge at Worlds to his name, and for being around as long as he has, with the stats he has, I think that's good enough, and the most we can ask of the little guy. But hey, what do I know? I haven't even competed at a regional yet. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. There's some kind of bug happening on my YouTube page where I can't add links to my description, but if it still doesn't work, you can find me on my Twitter at pinkburzo7 alongside my Instagram and TikTok of the same name. Also, I have a Patreon, hopefully by the time that this is up. Starting at $5 a month, you can get videos early team sheets, a shout out at the end of videos, exclusive roles in the community Discord, and exclusive drawings. Also, yes, we have a Discord. I also have a Fiverr if you'd like a commission or maybe even like a thumbnail or a dumb drawing for yourself. All that alongside supporting the channel all around, but if you can't support in some kind of monetary, dumb, capitalistic cash way, you help a lot more by liking, subscribing, commenting, all that fun YouTube stuff. That's going to be all for today. I've been pinkburzo7, and I will see you, hopefully at Anime Fusion / Milwaukee Regionals, and if not, somewhere sometime. Peace.